Uh, briefly talk a little bit today about the cultivation of yin energy. Cultivation of yin energy. So yin, of course, being the other half of the circle of yin and yang. So over the years, practicing Tai Chi and typically when people first start learning Tai Chi, they feel pretty good pretty fast. Usually, if they go regularly, within the first, I would say 3 months plus, they feel pretty good. And why is that? Understanding why is that will give you an understanding about how internal system works and how the practice and the lifestyle of Tai Chi provides a good foundation for fostering good health. So when we say cultivation of yin energy, that actually refers to how you can go inside your internal system to cultivate all those qualities. See, throughout most of people's lives, and the way, we run and how we're raised in a Western type of society, in general, we're always on the run. We're always, as they talk about, you're in the grind. You gotta work 8 hours a day plus, perhaps deal with difficult coworkers. There's a lot of demands on your jobs, and you have other things outside of work that requires your time. And as a result, there's a lot of yang energy that gets pent up. Again, let me repeat that. You have a lot of yang energy that becomes stagnated within your body and mind. And what can that result into? Well, there's a lot of tension on your shoulders, a lot of tension maybe in the neck, in different parts of your body. Your mind is always busy with all these things going on. That's a lot of yang energy over the course of a lifetime that gets built up. And as a result, you're almost like a walking firecracker. Anything that ticks you off, you'll just, something will snap. That happens to a lot of people because of too much yang energy. And throughout, the course of this type of living and experience, well, they might tap into, they have to do things to kind of release that yang energy. And as a result, what a lot of people do may not be the most conducive for being in a more holistic way to release that yang energy. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that people may do, whereas it could be drinking, it could be eating, a lot of different ways of how people release pent up stagnation, yang energy, and even anger. That's another way how people release yang energy. And the yang energy becomes lopsided, meaning that within their body, within their mind, there is this uneven type of yin and yang balance that they have in their body and mind. And as a result, they don't know how to release it because they're in this treadmill of nonstop in the grind, so much things happening. And people, your friends, your loved ones, they're saying, hey, slow down. Hey, you need to just maybe take a vacation or kind of reset, rejuvenate, regroup. And we get a lot of, reminders on what we need to do. But those reminders are not enough because they're coming from third party interventions. They're coming from just bits of information that may pass along your path that are clues and reminders. And unfortunately, most people don't pay attention to those things that may come your way to tell you that you need to slow down and figure out what you're doing that is causing harm to your overall general health. And people that somehow figure it out, they take a class, and it could be even yoga. Yoga is very good too. People could be doing something that is suddenly they're making the yin and yang more even, more balanced, right? They start to perhaps eat better. They start to do things related in that direction. And for some people, they take up Tai Chi. Suddenly, they're moving very slow, and they may not get used to it. Hey, but they signed up for this class, they pay money for it, and they make a commitment. The teacher is saying that, hey, you come here, you ask me questions, and you want to have health is better, right? Well, then you need to be in this class for at least 6 months to a year. Make a commitment. You may not like it, but if you really want to regain your health, stick to it. And they start moving very slowly. Suddenly, their mind is kind of slowing down. Suddenly, week to week, they're in this outside in the fresh air, in the sunshine. And equally important, they're around a community of people, maybe usually older than them or could be same age. And they all seem to be very happy, very calm. And it starts to become a mirror image of, hey, that's something that looks very peaceful. That's something that is what I want to also feel day to day, not just get up in the morning with so much pain and so much on my mind that, it's another day I have to go through this. So with the cultivation of yin energy, what are we doing? We're learning to actively release, right? When we talk about song, not just relaxation in the intellectual way, song, that means that you're constantly releasing because now your posture is a lot better. Everything is kind of lined up from top to bottom where there's a harmonious union between the top and the bottom. A lot of times in too much yang energy, you don't have a harmonious union between the top and the bottom. Now, because we're doing stillness training, we're learning to merge the top and the bottom. Now we're doing Song Gong, whereas we're actively releasing in all the drills that we do. Now you start to feel this movement of energy, right? And when you finish, you feel a little bit lighter from the yang energy. You feel a little bit lighter because now energy is moving constantly. Not only just in the practice, it's going to spill over in your everyday life. And now when somebody is upset at you, you just let them say what they need to say. If somebody is very angry, you can say, time out. I need to go somewhere. I'll come back. We'll talk about it. Or you can just walk away, right? Those are the things that will happen with the cultivation of the yin energy. Because when you get to a more refined stage, when you get to a more you start to recognize what that yin and yang imbalance energy that you're releasing, something that is releasing will rebound back to the yang energy. And as a result, you have this balance within your mind and within your body. That's a big part of the IST training. Okay. And everything that we're doing, they're just tools to help you to achieve that one session at a time. And with each practice that you do more and more and more, you'll start to recognize that energy that's always in balance. You're not going to have reflexes that you have that are uncontrollable. You're going to feel that your body posture and alignment will get a lot better because you start to feel it. And over time, you'll realize those are the qualities that it represents. Okay. So again, in summary, in cultivation of yin and yang, we cultivate yin because we already have the yang energy. That's the dominant part of how we go about our everyday business. Now, with the cultivation of the yin energy, we're learning to balance between the two. Balance between the two. So when we're standing on one leg, what are we doing? We're cultivating the yin and yang energy to be one so that we don't lose our balance. And the more you do it, the more you're going to feel it. And the training and the cultivation is in the feeling. And that's kind of where, okay. So again, as always, I always say that we'll reveal the cultivation of the yin energy down the road. A lot of different subjects that I talk about, because as you improve, as I talk about it, your understanding will get closer and closer to what it is, and you'll have a deeper understanding and its refinement. Okay, so that's about it today. Do we have any